Have you ever looked at someone in their 90s and thought, how is that even possible? Today, we're diving into a story that's as mesmerizing as it is inspiring. A woman who's not just defying age, but rewriting what it means to age at all. Her name is Carmen Dell'Orefice, and at 91 years old, she doesn't just walk into a room, she glides. Her presence isn't just elegance, it's mastery over time itself. But here's the real question. Is it just genetics, or is there science behind her glow? Today on Calm Voice Wellness, we explore Carmen's routines, not as passing curiosities, but through the lens of a medical professional who has spent decades studying human health, aging, and longevity. I'll break down the medical truth behind her habits, what works, why it works, and how you can apply it. No magic, no fluff, just real, practical advice for real results. So sit back, breathe deep, and get ready to rethink everything you thought you knew about getting older. Let's begin with the most visible layer of health, your skin. Skin, not just beauty, but biology. Carmen's first secret is so simple, it almost feels dismissive. Moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. And while that may sound like basic skincare advice, the science behind it is anything but. As a doctor, I've studied the epidermal barrier, the topmost layer of your skin, and its role in aging. As we grow older, our skin naturally loses moisture due to decreased sebum production and a breakdown in ceramides, the lipids that hold skin cells together. That's why, starting as early as age 40, we see a dramatic increase in skin dryness, wrinkles, and sensitivity. Carmen's approach, moisturizing frequently with whatever she has on hand, echoes one of the golden rules of dermatology. Consistency matters more than the product itself. Whether it's a $300 cream or basic petroleum jelly, applying it regularly keeps the barrier intact. This reduces transepidermal water loss, which in turn reduces wrinkle formation. She also swears by daily sunscreen, and rightly so. The Harvard Medical School and American Academy of Dermatology both agree. Photoaging, aging caused by sun exposure, is responsible for up to 80% of visible aging on the skin. A pivotal study from Annals of Internal Medicine followed over 900 participants and found that those who used daily broad-spectrum sunscreen had 24% less skin aging compared to those who used it intermittently. Carmen isn't just fighting wrinkles, she's protecting her DNA. UV rays cause direct damage to the skin's collagen and elastin fibers. Over time, this leads not only to sagging and age spots, but increases your risk of skin cancers. She also avoids makeup, except for professional work. And here's a little-known truth. Certain ingredients in heavy foundation can actually suffocate the skin if worn continuously. It's not makeup itself that ages you, it's the residue buildup that clogs pores and oxidizes, creating inflammation over time. The takeaway? Think of your skin like your gut. It needs to breathe, stay hydrated, and be protected from external damage. Carmen lives this truth daily. And now, let's move beneath the surface to what's fueling that radiance. Nutrition. The anti-aging engine you can control. Carmen doesn't follow a strict diet. She doesn't count calories. In fact, she eats ice cream. And if that shocks you, it shouldn't. Because longevity isn't about restriction, it's about balance, and more importantly, intuition. As a physician, I've seen hundreds of patients who fear food. They follow punishing diets and end up metabolically broken. Carmen's approach? Intuitive eating. Listening to your body. That's powerful medicine. She begins her day with lemon water, a ritual supported by both Ayurvedic and modern medicine. While lemon water alone won't detox your liver does that already. The habit jumpstarts hydration, a cornerstone of cellular function. Most people over 60 walk around mildly dehydrated, and dehydration doesn't just affect your skin. It affects your brain, your joints, your digestion. Carmen drinks water consistently throughout her day, including right when she wakes up, and even during her stretching sessions. She also eats probiotic yogurt, which is hugely important for gut health. Your gut microbiome influences everything from mood to immune function to how your skin looks. According to the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, a diverse microbiome improves metabolic flexibility, reduces inflammation, and may even extend lifespan. And let's not ignore her love for ice cream. Here's where many wellness influencers go wrong. They demonize foods instead of examining the relationship we have with them. Carmen finds joy in a scoop of ice cream, not as a crutch, but as a comfort. That joy alone is anti-inflammatory, because you can drink all the kale smoothies in the world, but if you're constantly stressed, anxious, and deprived, your cells will age faster. This is where Carmen's brilliance really shines. She doesn't eat to be skinny, she eats to feel alive. Coming up next, we'll explore Carmen's daily movement practice and how just 30 minutes of walking could dramatically reduce your risk of disease. We'll also break down the science of stretching, mindful breathing, and how listening to your body can actually reverse signs of aging at the cellular level. But before we continue, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, when was the last time I truly listened to what my body was asking for? Don't go anywhere, because the next few minutes may completely transform the way you think about aging, forever. Now that we've touched on what Carmen eats and how she treats her skin, let's talk about movement, not just as exercise, but as a conversation with the body. At 91, Carmen doesn't hit the gym. She doesn't lift heavy weights. She doesn't force herself into punishing regimens. What she does instead is far more powerful. She walks. That's right, just walking. You might be tempted to brush that off. Walking? That's too simple. But here's what decades of medical research has shown us. Walking, especially daily brisk walking, is one of the most effective, sustainable, and protective exercises for aging bodies. A study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that walking for just 30 minutes a day significantly reduced the risk of heart disease, dementia, diabetes, and even cancer. But Carmen doesn't walk just for cardio. She walks for connection, with friends, with her breath, and with the world around her. Let's be clear, walking isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual. When we walk, we regulate our circadian rhythm, release endorphins, and reduce cortisol, the stress hormone that prematurely ages us. As a physician, I often tell my patients, if movement feels like punishment, you're doing it wrong. Carmen understands this. She chooses movement that feels good. That's the kind of exercise you'll actually stick to, not because you have to, but because your body starts craving it. Stretching, the forgotten key to aging gracefully. Each morning, Carmen doesn't just wake up, she awakens her body, slowly, mindfully. She rolls her hips, checks in with her joints, lifts her legs, and greets her muscles like old friends. This isn't yoga, this isn't Pilates, it's something far more intimate. It's called proprioceptive awareness, the scientific term for the body's ability to sense itself in space. It's the foundation of balance, coordination, and injury prevention. And it declines rapidly after the age of 60, unless you train it. Carmen's approach is exactly what I recommend for my aging patients. Gentle, full-body stretching done in bed before the day begins. It improves blood flow, maintains range of motion, and signals the nervous system, I'm safe, I'm cared for, I'm awake. She doesn't push through pain, she listens. That's another lesson most people ignore. Pain is information, not a challenge. And when you tune into your body, not fight it, you can extend your physical autonomy in decades. Breath, the most powerful medicine you're not using. Here's where things get even more profound. While she stretches, Carmen breathes, deeply, intentionally. She understands that breath is more than oxygen, it's a message to the brain. You see, most of us breathe shallowly, from the chest, fast, tight. This kind of breathing activates the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight state that releases adrenaline, elevates blood pressure, and increases aging at the cellular level. But deep diaphragmatic breathing, like the kind Carmen practices, activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It lowers cortisol, slows the heart rate, enhances digestion, and improves immune function. This isn't new age fluff, it's neuroscience. A 2017 study in Frontiers in Psychology found that participants who practiced deep breathing for just 10 minutes a day experienced reduced anxiety, improved focus, and better emotional regulation. And Carmen? She's been doing it for decades, without needing a meditation app or a coach whispering into her ear. She just sits with herself, she listens, and she breathes. Flexibility. Over rigidity, Carmen's adaptive wisdom. What makes Carmen's morning routine even more brilliant is that it's flexible. If her body needs something different on a particular morning, she changes it. No guilt, no pressure. This is biological intuition in action, something most people lose touch with. Our bodies are not machines, they are ecosystems. What worked yesterday might not serve us today. Carmen doesn't resist this truth, she embraces it. She doesn't stretch because it's a rule. She stretches because it feels good. She doesn't get on the bike because she has to burn calories. She does it while waiting for the kettle to boil because it brings her joy. That, my friend, is what separates wellness from discipline. And that's why she still radiates vitality, love, sex, and the longevity of connection. Now let's talk about a topic most people avoid after a certain age: intimacy. Carmen doesn't. In fact, she's refreshingly open about it. She once said, "Of course I still make love. Why would I give that up?" To her, intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's creative. It's the pulse of life. And guess what? She's absolutely right. Medical science agrees. A study in the American Journal of Cardiology found that older adults who maintained intimate relationships reported lower stress, better cognitive function, and improved cardiovascular health. Here's why. Touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It reduces inflammation, it builds trust, it enhances sleep. Carmen compares intimacy to a Rolls-Royce. You have to start the engine occasionally, even if you're not going for a drive, just to keep it running smoothly. Most people think intimacy disappears with age, but what actually happens is that shame and societal pressure increase. Carmen, however, doesn't play by those rules. She believes that less is more, except when it comes to love. She's had multiple marriages, countless crushes, and still believes in the thrill of connection. And here's the lesson. Intimacy doesn't have to be about sex. It can be about energy exchange, closeness, affection, and shared moments. She reminds us that love can be found in friendship, family, or a fleeting spark. And when you nurture it, it keeps you vibrant. In the next segment, we'll explore the psychological strength behind Carmen's lifestyle, the resilience that saw her through losing everything financially twice, the optimism that keeps her working at 91, and how joy itself might be the most underrated anti-aging force on the planet. But before we move on, I want you to ask yourself something. When was the last time you let your body feel joy? Not discipline, not routine, but real, tingling, I'm alive joy? Because that might just be the secret. Aging isn't just something that happens to the body. It's something that happens in the mind first. You can eat well, you can exercise, you can moisturize religiously. But if you live every day with bitterness, regret, or boredom, your body will carry that burden. It will show in your eyes, in your skin, in your bones. Carmen Dell'Orefice understands this better than most. She's not just a pretty face at 91, she's a survivor. A woman who has lived through extreme financial loss, twice, who endured the instability of 3 marriages, who reinvented herself in an industry that famously discards women after 30. And yet, here she stands, graceful, grounded, and glowing. So how does she do it? The secret isn't willpower, it's perspective. The psychology of youthfulness. Carmen doesn't wake up trying to be 30 again. She wakes up trying to be fully herself. That's the real difference between someone who ages gracefully and someone who ages grudgingly. She's developed what psychologists call a growth mindset, a belief that your potential isn't fixed by your age or past experiences. And it's not just inspirational jargon. Studies from Stanford University show that individuals with a growth mindset live longer, recover faster from illness, and maintain cognitive function into advanced age. Why? Because your thoughts don't just live in your head, they echo through your entire physiology. They change how your brain wires itself. They change how your genes express themselves. This is the science of epigenetics, the bridge between what you inherit and what you choose. Carmen's resilience wasn't handed to her. She built it, through heartbreak, through failure, through reinvention. And every time, she chose curiosity over cynicism. That choice? It's available to all of us. Still working at 91, the purpose principle. Ask Carmen if she's thinking about retirement, and she'll tell you, why would I stop doing what I love? That one sentence says everything. Most people assume that retirement is the goal, that we're all counting down to the day we can finally stop working. But here's what the data says. Full retirement, without a replacement sense of purpose, increases your risk of depression, cognitive decline, and even mortality. In Japan, there's a word for this, ikigai, your reason for getting out of bed in the morning. Carmen has found hers not just in modeling, but in creating, in expressing, in living fully. And here's what's really interesting. She's not chasing fame, she's chasing fulfillment. When we lose our sense of purpose, even if we're healthy physically, our bodies start to shut down. It's almost as if the system says, there's nothing left to do here. Carmen proves that staying engaged, challenged, and inspired is perhaps the most powerful anti-aging protocol of them all. Hobbies that heal. Why play isn't just for kids. Another overlooked aspect of Carmen's vitality. She plays, she sews, she photographs, she listens to jazz. She finds beauty in the smallest of moments, like the sound of a tea kettle or the curve of a fabric. As a doctor, I can tell you, joy is not a luxury. It's medicine. Studies published in Psychosomatic Medicine show that engaging in leisure activities significantly lowers blood pressure, reduces cortisol levels, and increases life satisfaction. In fact, one longitudinal study found that individuals with regular hobbies were 34% less likely to develop dementia than those without. Carmen's hobbies aren't about productivity, they're about presence. And that presence, the ability to be right here, right now, is what keeps the nervous system calm, the immune system strong, and the heart open. So ask yourself, what's your version of sewing, of jazz, of stillness? Find it, and protect it like your life depends on it, because it might. The calm within the storm, mastering stress with grace. When Carmen walks into a room, she carries a stillness with her, an elegance that isn't just physical, it's energetic. You can feel it. This doesn't come from a perfect life. It comes from mastering the storm within. She's learned how to process stress instead of suppressing it. She doesn't panic. She breathes. She observes. She moves forward. This is what psychologists call self-regulation, and it's a skill that correlates directly with longevity. In fact, the Baltimore Longitudinal Study of Aging, one of the longest-running studies in the U.S., found that individuals with better emotional regulation in their 50s were healthier and more independent well into their 80s and 90s. Carmen's tools are simple: breathwork, mindful observation, flexibility in routine, connection to music and beauty, a healthy dose of irreverence. She doesn't try to control life. She dances with it. And that mindset, it's available to all of us, but it has to be practiced. Aging isn't loss, it's mastery. Perhaps the greatest myth in Western culture is that aging is a process of decline, that every year takes something from you. Carmen turns that idea inside out. At 91, she hasn't lost her value. She's gained clarity. She knows who she is, what she wants, what she doesn't need. She's not performing, she's living. This, to me, is the ultimate expression of health. Not just the absence of disease, but the presence of wholeness, of truth, of unapologetic joy. So many of my patients ask me, how can I live longer? And I tell them, don't focus on living longer, focus on living deeper, and the rest will follow. In the final section, we'll tie together all of Carmen's principles, from skincare to mindset, and distill them into 5 transformative practices that anyone, at any age, can adopt starting today. But before we go there, I want you to sit with this one question. What if aging isn't something to fear, but something to master? Stay with me. You're closer than you think. You've heard the science. You've felt the heart behind it. Now it's time to bring Carmen Dell'Orefice's timeless wisdom into your own life. Because here's the truth. You don't need to be a supermodel. You don't need perfect genes. You don't need to chase youth. You just need to make intentional choices every single day. So let's distill everything we've learned into 5 transformative practices you can begin applying right now. They're simple, they're grounded in science, and most importantly, they work. 1. Ritual. Over routine, anchor your day with gentle mornings. Carmen's mornings aren't rushed. They aren't dictated by screens or alarms. They're anchored in presence. She stretches in bed. She checks in with her joints. She drinks warm water. She listens to jazz. This isn't luxury, it's neuroscience. A calm, predictable morning ritual lowers cortisol, balances blood sugar, and sets the tone for a nervous system that's alert without being stressed. Your version doesn't have to be long. It just needs to be yours. Maybe it's 5 minutes of breath work, or sitting with a warm mug and no phone, or journaling one thought you're grateful for. Whatever it is, protect it. Let it be the spine of your day. 2. Skin is a mirror. Treat it with respect. Yes, Carmen moisturizes religiously, but beyond the surface, what she's really doing is maintaining her body's largest organ, the skin. Daily hydration, consistent sunscreen use, and minimal makeup have given her skin a softness and clarity that defy her age. But you don't need an expensive regimen. You need consistency. Use a simple moisturizer, morning and night. Apply a broad-spectrum SPF every single day, rain or shine. Let your skin breathe, and most importantly, touch your skin with love. Aging gracefully isn't about reversing wrinkles. It's about honoring the vessel that carries you through the world. 3. Eat with joy, not judgment. Carmen doesn't count calories. She doesn't restrict. She cooks. She enjoys. She even eats ice cream. Why? Because pleasure is part of health. Her secret isn't in what she eats, it's in how she eats. With curiosity, with balance, with presence. Modern nutrition research echoes this. Mindful eating improves digestion, reduces overeating, and supports long-term metabolic health. Even more importantly, it heals our relationship with food, one of the most broken relationships we carry in modern life. So start with this. Hydrate deeply. Begin your morning with lemon water or herbal tea. Include fermented foods like yogurt or kimchi. And most importantly, stop moralizing your meals. There's no such thing as a bad food when eaten in joy, balance, and awareness. 4. Move to listen, not to burn. Here's where Carmen rewrites the rules. She doesn't exercise to punish herself or to burn calories. She moves to stay connected. She walks. She stretches. She breathes. She tunes into her body and adjusts her rhythm as needed. This is the exact movement philosophy I share with patients over 60. Low-impact, intuitive movement done consistently will take you farther than any intense workout ever will. And here's the bonus. It feels good. When movement becomes a way to listen to your body, not override it, you'll never need motivation again. Because your body will start craving that sense of aliveness. Start with 30 minutes of walking. Add 10 minutes of stretching while listening to music. Breathe into every joint. Greet your limbs. And if something hurts, don't push. Get curious. That's movement that heals. 5. Choose joy as your default state. This might be Carmen's most radical secret. She doesn't chase happiness. She cultivates joy deliberately, daily, through music, through sewing, through touch, through sensuality, through friendship, through work. And here's what science tells us. Joy isn't the result of a perfect life. It's the result of attunement, of noticing beauty, of seeking out wonder, of refusing to let stress dictate your experience. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, your body's feel-good chemicals, aren't just passive. They're activated by how you choose to move through the world. You want to age gracefully? Start by smiling more, touching more, laughing more, loving more. Let joy flood your system, even in tiny doses. Because every time you choose joy over judgment, your body heals. A final word from Calm Voice Wellness. So, here we are. You've just spent the last few minutes stepping into the world of a woman who redefined aging, who defied society's expiration date, who embraced the mirror instead of fearing it. But this isn't just Carmen's story. It's your story too. You get to choose how you age. You get to choose how you show up in your body, in your mind, in your relationships. You get to choose presence over panic, purpose over retirement, pleasure over guilt. So let this be your permission slip. Let this be the beginning, not of a diet, not of a workout plan, but of a new relationship. With your skin, with your breath, with your food, with your reflection. Because aging isn't a war, it's a dance. And every day you choose love over fear, softness over shame, presence over performance. You become ageless, just like Carmen. Before you go, do one thing for me. Subscribe to Calm Voice Wellness. We're building a community of people who believe that aging is not about slowing down. It's about leveling up. With calm, with clarity, with care. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with someone you love. And let them know, the best is never behind you. It's right here. And it's just getting started.